as I said in the last video, today I'm going to be working on making a stand for my swage block. This is following on from these last few videos that I've been doing in which I've been improving my workshop space. Also, please stick around to the end of the video as I've got a couple of questions for you about video length, content, and how many you want per week. Always amazes me just how heavy this swage block is. Really does take some lifting. I got this off Bill a few years ago when he was downsizing. But a swage block is a really useful thing. I haven't used it that much, to be honest. But having all of these little grooves in it, when you need the grooves, it's so useful just to be able to get the swage block out and use it. But as I said, I've had to be using it on the floor or like on a makeshift stand. So I want to make a proper stand for it now so that I can actually use it a bit more in the workshop rather than having it on the floor, or, as I said in the last video, it used to be on the vise, weighing the vise down. But now we've got that bolted down, it doesn't need to be on there. So I can make a stand for it and then actually be able to use it. I'll take some measurements to see how wide I need to make it. For the stand itself, the best thing to do is make like an angle iron frame, which this can then sit on. And obviously, sometimes you're going to have it in this orientation, but then other times you're going to have it flat down so you can get at all of these holes in the front of it. And so to do that, we want a nice angle iron frame, which we can rest it in where it's flat, but then also lift it up so we can then get in all of these nice grooves. The only problem is I don't have any angle iron, so I'm going to have to make some angle iron out of flat bar, which is a little bit annoying but easy enough to do. So I'll get to cutting up some steel and then we can weld the sort of angle iron frame together and then get some legs on it. The top's done, and I just quickly went over these welds with a grinder so they're a little bit neater, but you can see how it looks and it fits on the swage block, so that's always good. I can now get on to putting some legs on the bottom. The legs are going to be very similar to this anvil stand. This was the first one I ever made, and you can see it's got 4 legs. Really, I should have made it with 3, as if you make something with 3 legs, it's going to be much more stable. You see, this anvil stand has a bit of a rock on it. That's mainly because the floor isn't very even, but it's also because it has 4 legs. If you do it with 3 legs, you are just much less likely to have a rock on uneven ground. Also, you'll notice that the legs are at a slight angle. It's about 5 degrees. I think that's the magic number. So you cut your bars at a slight angle so that when you weld them on, they're coming off. You can see there, rather than just being straight down. I think, again, that helps to the rigidity of the stand. I'm going to make the legs out of tube rather than box, as I don't have any box, but that means that it's going to be quite hard to mark this angle out, because obviously you can't just mark an angle on a round bar because it's round. So I'm going to sort of guess it, which obviously isn't the best way to do this. I can't think of a good way to do it. But what I've done is, I don't know if you can see it, I've drawn a 5 degrees line on my bench here. I'm then going to eyeball it and get a brilliant mark. Oh, this is not going to go well. Right, I'm going to try my best to cut a 5 degrees cut on here just by hand, looking down my lines. Hopefully it's going to work. Let's just give it a go. So here's the stand. You can see it's nice and sturdy. It's not rocking, which is really good. There is one problem though, and that's because when the swage block is in this orientation, there's nothing to stop it moving with the vibrations as you're hammering on it and coming out against that side. So what I've done is just cut up some little pieces of steel, just 40x10, and so these are going to act as a wedge. So we can just hammer these in, and you'll notice that it has just a little bit of a slope or cut on one side, so that it's obviously a smaller dimension there to there, so that when we're hammering this in, it can force the swage block against that far side, locking it in place so it's not going to move everywhere as we're hammering on it. This isn't an issue, of course, when the swage block is down, because it's contacting on all sides, so it's not going to move anywhere then. That does mean we have two different levels, as obviously we've got this level which is at sort of my usual forging height, and then when we put it down it's then at more of like a sledgehammer height. You know, it's much lower down, so we can get a good full swing on it with a sledgehammer if we're drifting anything through these holes. The idea as well is to leave a gap on the underside so you can get a crowbar or something in there to then pop these out, so you can actually get them out, so the swage block will come out. But you see there, it's now just really solid. You can forge on that all day. It's not going to move anywhere. And that is obviously, it is a danger for the swage block to come out, because it might then fall down the hole in the middle. So you do sort of want these little wedges just to hammer in there, and you see they're not moving anywhere. It's really strong, and just a good little tip of these, and I use them on my anvils as well, so you can just slide it in the gap in between your anvil and the stand to lock it in place. There's the finished stand. I'm really happy I've got this done. I can just keep it in the corner over there, and then it's now nice and easy to get out, rather than having to move it across the floor and then actually using it on the floor. I've got a nice stand, and it's at a much better height for actually using the swage block. As I said at the start of the video, I want to have a little bit of a chat and just pose the question to you about the videos themselves. So when I started out, I was doing a video actually every 2 days. And that was because I basically just decided to become a full-time blacksmith without really having any work. So I just ended up making videos all of the time instead of actually doing work. I did, you know, of course, get some work. But now, a year later, I've got quite a lot of work. And so during the weeks, I'm doing stuff that I get paid for. And then at the weekends, I make the videos. But that means that I only have 2 days to make videos, and at the moment I'm releasing a video every 4 days. So that means that at a weekend I have to try and create 2 videos, or at the end of the day during the week, and then do occasionally do some filming when I get the time to then you know, actually create the videos. But I want to pose the question to you: do you want me to be making 2 videos a week, so a video every 4 days? It's not quite 2 videos a week. Or just do one good video a week. If I focus all of my time on making one video, my thinking is that it's going to be a much better video for you to watch. Because at the moment, I'm finding myself rushing to make 2 videos, if you know what I mean. So it's not just in the actual editing and filming of the video, but actually making the thing that the video is about, if you know what I mean. I feel like I'm rushing to get it made, whereas really I would like more time to explain things and get better shots and film more of the process. But because I'm sort of rushing myself to make this 4-day deadline, and I don't think it's helping the videos, if you know what I mean. I think it would be better if I took my time, made some nicer videos, and just did one good video a week. But I wanted to ask you, as obviously you're the ones watching the video, so I don't know, do you want me to continue making a video every 4 days or do a video once a week? Anyway, thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you on the next one.